Parents who've ever read their teenager's diary, what did you discover that completely changed your relationship? I still remember the day I was cleaning under my daughter's bed when I found her diary wedged between the wall and the mattress. As I picked it up, it slipped open, and the first thing I saw was my name, underlined 3 times, followed by the words I hate her written in bold, angry letters. I should have closed it right then, but I didn't, and honestly, I'm not proud of that choice. Lately, she had been so distant, spending hours shut away in her room. I brushed it off as normal teenage moodiness. But my husband kept saying, something's not right. The first entries were harmless, crush at school, arguments with friends, complaints about teachers. Then I turned a page, and my whole body froze. She wrote about cutting, how she hid it so no one would notice, how the pain made her feel alive when everything else was too heavy. My hands were shaking as I read. There were darker pages too, thoughts about dying, wondering if anyone would miss her. She wrote that maybe her dad would cry, but I'd probably just feel relieved. She even wrote poems about being invisible, about screaming without sound, about fading away like a ghost in her own home. And then I found the part that broke me, the reason. Last year, my sister was diagnosed with cancer. I threw myself into helping her, hospital visits, chemo sessions, cooking for her kids. I thought I was managing it all. But through my daughter's eyes, I had vanished. Page after page described the soccer games I missed, the nights I was too tired to ask about her day, the hours I spent on the phone with my sister instead of her. The worst entry was her birthday. I had promised to be home for dinner. But when my sister had a bad reaction to treatment, I stayed at the hospital. I didn't even call. That night, my daughter wrote, "Mom has a new daughter now. She doesn't need me anymore." She described sitting at the table with her cake, waiting, checking her phone again and again. Until midnight, when she blew out her own candles. I put the diary back where I found it, went to my room, and cried until I couldn't breathe. That night, I told my husband I had been neglecting her. We rearranged everything so he could take on more care for my sister. He looked at me like he had been waiting forever for me to see it. The next day, I pulled my daughter out of school for a surprise lunch. She was quiet, suspicious. When I gently asked about the scars on her wrist, she brushed it off, saying it was just the cat. I didn't push. Instead, I told her how much I missed her, how sorry I was, and that she would always be my priority. She didn't say much, but when I dropped her back at school, she hugged me, the first hug in months. From then on, I kept my promises. I went to her games. I saved our conversations for after she went to bed. I set aside sacred mother-daughter days. One night, I baked her favorite cake again and told her I wanted a redo of her birthday. She looked at me strangely and smiled, a real smile. 3 months later, she accidentally left her diary open on her bed. The entry said, "Mom's back." She had even crossed out her old poem and replaced it with a new one, this time about being seen, about someone fighting for you when you've given up. I never told her I read her diary, but sometimes I think she knows. She's 19 now, in college. Just last week, she called to check on me and said, "Thanks for fighting for me back then, Mom."